What would you make as your top priority?
Figuring out how to reduce the debt by revamping the health care legislation. I mean, that is the biggest financial sucking vortex in government right now. I mean, the biggest issue was the coverage, but it was a minority of Americans who did not have access to coverage. And this bill did not cut costs at all. And that was another major concern of people, how to cut costs. And this bill didn't do that either. And instead, like I said, it's forcing more companies to throw their employees into the national pool or whatever it's going to be. And, you know, they're going to be left to fend for themselves and trying to find coverage. And so no one likes to say it, but when you look at our stats in terms of how we treat patients here, our recovery rates, our success rates, waits to hip replacements and heart surgeries, it is night and day compared to other nationalized healthcare systems in other countries. Maybe more expensive, that's an issue to look at, but we do it better and we do it faster. And when you're walking around in pain, you don't want to have to wait. That's a quality of life that affects how well you work at your job if you're capable of working. Now, of course, that doesn't affect the government's bottom line in paying for it, but that's something you have to take into consideration. If they're not working, it affects all of our bottom lines. So, yes, I think that's going to be overriding. And I think the whole bailout, stimulus, I mean, people are flabbergasted. It has literally, I do think it has become a blank check. Whatever project, that money is sitting there, untethered, in a big fat piggy bank, and I think people are very upset about that because just spending it does not just automatically create long, good jobs.
Mm-hmm. What about the war in Iraq and Afghanistan? Are you in support of that? Do you think that it's something that should be continued?
Well, I think we are pulling down our troops in Iraq. Hopefully we will leave them with the tools to stabilize. It would be a travesty if we pull it out eventually and we leave the country in no better off than they were. The ability to become a democracy, and yet it's civil war everywhere. On the other hand, in Afghanistan, we're there. We're there now, and a lot of young women have lost their lives in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And so, if we're gonna, when we send soldiers in, then we have to do everything we can to support them. So we're there. I think it would be terrible to pull out. I think we have legitimate reasons to be there, but we can't quibble over the numbers of soldiers or the type of plane. I mean, anything they need, anything the military commanders say they need, personally, I think you got to take them at their face and give it to them because that would be awful otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Overall, you consider yourself to be conservative?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you say ultra-conservative, or?
I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm a Catholic. I'm pro-life. That's certainly not an issue. That's a social issue. That's something I've never had to deal with on city council, obviously. But fiscally, yes, I would say I'm conservative. Some of my votes on city council have not always probably been perceived as that, but I do think sometimes you have to actually spend money. There is some economic development that cities can do. I don't think any government should be the lead in that.